stand by for action.
Thanks for joining me. My name is Dave Milner. I am the Unpleasant Blind Guy, and I want to welcome you to part 2 of this episode of the Unpleasant Blind Guy on EDL Radio. Now remember, if you want to contact me with comments, questions, show suggestions, Awesome American suggestions, I'm available at UBG Contact on Twitter, or I can also be found as Dave Milner or Agador, that's Aggedor, on Mumblet, the Tea Party Community, Spreely, Minds, MeWe, or Gab. Now let's begin.
This is, what gets me about this, Jeff, I gotta say, is this is the left admitting that this guy did a horrible job. Now, and now you want a little bit of irony, Jeff?
He's supposed to be the leader of the Labour Party, Dave. He's supposed to be the leader.
There you are. Yeah. Well, exactly.
Send in the clowns as a tune. Send in the clowns.
Well, yeah. And you know what the irony, one of the real ironies is, Jeff? You have people, lefties all over the world, bagging on President Trump because they say, well, he's not presidential. He doesn't say every word right and all this kind of stuff, and he makes all these gaffes and everything. Here, one of their pillars, you got Jeremy Corbyn, you got the Macron, you've got Justin Trudeau, you've got Angela Merkel, you got all these a-holes on the left, all right, that claim that they're so smooth, right? Okay, butter melts in their mouth. Oh yeah, but butter, it's like butter, melts in their mouths and everything. And here this guy basically goes on the BBCs and lays a 2-foot-long growler. And for those of you who don't know what that what that term means, that means a poopy. So there it is, guys. The election's a week off, and you guys have a decision to make. Research your candidates. Research. Okay, if they're part of the Brexit party and you're for Brexit, then Jeff and I are both for Brexit, obviously. Research the background of who that Brexit party MP is that's running. Make sure you research their background and make sure you know what their background is, and make your choices. But understand, if you choose Labor, that this is what you're choosing. Okay, that's all I'm. Jeff, you got anything more to say on this?
Amy, vote for based Amy, ladies and gentlemen. Amy is canvassing. Let's get her in over Solving. Go for it. Sorry, Dave, I had to do a bit of promotion.
No, that's beautiful, man. Hey, I didn't even know she was running. I have to say, based Amy.
Well, they're trying to stop her. There's all sorts of things. She can't go canvassing, so people are going to have to go on her behalf. So get your backsides out there, guys and girls, and do it for Amy. You want to get rid of Sorbin, that horrible, disgusting person, then you've got a chance to totally get rid of her and put someone in power like Amy, because she loves you guys, she cares about you, she loves the country, she's a true patriot. And don't forget, she went and popped that big, what's it called, that big balloon, the Trump balloon. Yeah. Don't forget, she bloodied herself. She spilt her blood for you, the great people. Now, it's your turn to put this lady in a position that she can help you, the people who live in that area. So come on, people, get your boots on and start walking next Thursday and put Amy in a position where she would do the right things for people and not to put pennies in her friends' pockets like the other person has been doing forever, by the sounds of it. So I just wanted to, I shouldn't really be promoting, but you know what? Why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't I? I'm impartial. I should be biased. I should be sitting on the sideline. But you know what? There's so many of them out there saying to say, I'm going to sit on the sidelines. I'm going to tell it the way it is. Don't vote for people like the Corbynites and things like that. Vote for common sense, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm going to tell you. I'm not trying to persuade you to say to do this or do that, but do what's right. Do what your heart tells you to. Okay? Back to you, Dave.
All right. Well, Jeff, well, you know what? I mean, it's your show, and it's your platform, and you're doing what you think is right for your country, and that's a beautiful thing. Just like when eventually I went ahead and endorsed President Trump in 2016. So good on you. And Amy, good luck, hon. Good luck. Hope you take it. Now, Jeff and listeners, we're going to shift gears just a little bit here and listen to an audio. Actually, this was a video from Avi Yemeni. Now, you guys can find this, all right, at tr.news. And this one was put up on the 2nd of December, okay, and the headline for it is, Watch. This is what Hong Kong protesters are warning. And I want to say this, guys, before I play it. This applies not only, they're going to talk about Australia, but this applies also to the UK. It applies to the United States. It concerns immigration. It concerns the influence of communism. And you know who they're allied with. Guys, you're going to want to listen to this, all right? It's 7 minutes and 10 seconds long. Jeff, are you ready, brother?
Yeah, let's go, Dave.
All right. You guys are listening to the English Defense League radio show, and here is Avi Yemeni. Check it out.
I was born in Shanghai, China. I spent 17 years living in Shanghai. Then I moved over to Australia. I lived in Australia for 17 years. Then in 2008, I came here to Hong Kong. So I've been spending 11 years in Hong Kong now. Love the great work you've done. And please keep telling Australian people the infiltration or the dirty work the CCP has been doing, not just in Hong Kong, not just in China, but all over the world. And I really wish the Australian government would have done more to stop the Chinese infiltration into Australia. You don't want Australia end up like Hong Kong one day. Worst regime since Nazi Germany. Absolutely the worst.
The essential thing is, people coming to a country, let's say they go to America, they should believe the American dream. They go to Australia, they adopt the Australian way. They come to Hong Kong, they try to integrate into Hong Kong way. Okay, they may have a different opinion, but if you don't agree with the social value of the place, why do you need to go to there?
It's another lunchtime protest here in Hong Kong, as you can see. Peaceful people coming to a random location in the city. Business people, office people, regular people, and they're just committed to standing up and ensuring that their 5 demands are met, not one less. This is the protest movement. Violent extremists, they say. Good work.
What finally want is to Hong Kong to take back the power to that immigration power.
Do you think it's it's a conscious way, a plan by the CCP to influence elections, for example?
Absolutely. That's what China government, Beijing government want, because they want some, those people, they don't have any concept of democracy. They just want to, make it, like, make Hong Kong like Xinjiang, yeah. So easier to control.
If more people come here, then they have more influence.
Yes, that's what we think.
Immigrants exported from China to everywhere, to U.S., to Australia, to Europe, to U.K. That's been done.
I think they should be very cautious of the kind of people they let it in to Australia, because they also want to influence other countries like Canada, USA.
We're talking about maintaining Australian values and the way of life. Like living in Australia, like I was quite surprised. Like the transition between Hong Kong and Australia, like 5 to 10 years ago, I would still feel like I was in another country. Like experiencing a new culture. But now when I go back to Australia, like it feels like a small Shanghai.
It's not so much of what you need to do is how to re-educate them, because actually I know a lot of mainlanders that came into Hong Kong. They are just normal people. They don't believe in the communist regime. They just want to act normal. It's not, we don't have to be fearful about them, except that we need to re-educate them, the core value of the society.
There are some people who really need to come back to Hong Kong, say their relatives or family are in mainland and some in Hong Kong. So I have no problem with those people getting into Hong Kong, but
you don't want to see the open border between the two?
Not that open border, because Hong Kong is pretty crowded already. The houses and land are in shortage. So if we have still got many people in Hong Kong, that is a great problem.
We need to understand that there should be a base between, like racism and what is actually protecting Australian sovereignty.
We got more people coming to Hong Kong, and they got ways to, what in Hong Kong we say, to plant votes into, like, we have one address with a lot of people there, so they got people voting in there in that way.
You can see the difference in how redder and redder Australia is getting. Like the potential influence that Australia has, that China has on Australia, is something that is a growing concern.
How do we ensure people are going to come to Hong Kong, to Australia, who appreciate and embrace free democratic values?
I think it's very difficult. I mean, we are not going to have any kind of suppression about or monitoring of people's minds. This is not working like that.
You've seen how during the like the Chinese National Day on October the 1st, like we've seen the Chinese flag being put up into a like the police station in Melbourne. Like that shouldn't happen.
But if your behavior is actually acting against the value of the country, the system of law over there, then the immigration should reevaluate your legality of staying over there.
So you say send them back?
Yes, if they violate the local law, if they are actually behaving in a very totally different way than those different in Australia, you are not adopting the communist system, but if they are practicing the communist way, then they are actually violating Australian law. Then they should be sent back away.
You see how different this protest is, and it's people from everywhere, all walks of life, who come together peacefully. It looks like there's no agitators here today yet. But one of the things that are interesting that I've picked up on here speaking to people is their concern about the open borders, the immigration policy. They think of it as a direct threat to democracy. Why? Because they believe that the government, the Chinese Communist government, are actually bringing people here to change the direction of politics. And I think Australia and the West need to heed their warning.
It will infiltrate you by immigrating students, mainlanders, as well as by capital Chinese companies. It will infiltrate you all the way. So you just have to be aware or be next.
So I know many of you have warned me when I said that I might come here. You said not to come, it's a bad idea, but I had to. That's my job. I'm here in Hong Kong to bring the truth to you, because I know we're being sold half a story. We're being sold a narrative that the protest movement are just violent extremists. So I've come here to Hong Kong to film from the front line what's actually happening.
And welcome back to the English Defense League radio show with the host, Jeff Spider Mitchell. Jeff, what an audio. Your views.
Well, my view is, as I was listening to that, I went and made a cup of tea, actually. But as I was listening to it, I thought of the time that Great Britain had walked, because that was Scousers' time, Great Britain, walked away from Hong Kong. And I knew back then, I knew that the implications down the line it was going to have over a few years. And as we've seen in things have unfolded, democracy is under attack in a big way. Communism is attacking democracy in Hong Kong. Such a fragile thing, democracy, under attack. and the people standing up to adversity, it's just, it's amazing. But unfortunately, I say bloodshed has to be spilled for democracy, true democracy. We've all seen it, haven't we, Dave? We've all spoke about it in these radio shows. And what we're seeing in Hong Kong, the attack of people who want their democracy, who want their freedoms, it always afforded to them, that their ancestors had got used to. And the young people now want exactly what their ancestors had before them. Why shouldn't they? And yes, is it worth fighting for? Is it worth dying for? Of course it is. And the world should embrace what they're trying to do, because that is what democracy is all about. When you fight for freedom, and those are the things that people have done before, and people will continue to do as time goes by, and hopefully that the freedom-loving people in Hong Kong will prevail, and common sense will prevail. Yeah, that's the way I see it, Dave. As I took note as I was listening, I just wanted to make my views of what I see. It's just heartbreaking to know how many people have been hurt, people have been killed, and people are still out in the streets, and still doing their thing. Very brave, very courageous, and Godspeed them, and God praise what they're doing and what they're achieving. So there you go, Dave.
Well, Jeff, I saw a comment about this, and the comment on the TR.news was that the problem that the UK is facing with the influx of the Mohammedans is different because of the attempt to change the culture of the United Kingdom to an Islamic one. And that's correct as far as it goes, but the person who posted that should remember that there is a culture of communism, and the use of immigration to infuse communists from other parts of the world into more civilized countries like the UK, the United States, Australia, you name the Western democracy or republic, is happening all the time. For instance, in the United States, we have what we call... It's all
going to be in combat, close combat with communism, isn't it, Dave? It will be, because it's so void of the things that we know is precious to freedom-loving people, Dave. That's it. It's void of those things.
Right. And for instance, we have in the United States what we call anchor babies. And there are Chinese couples that actually have birth tourism. They take advantage of birth tourism, which is what it's been called. They will come over to the United States to have their babies in the United States, and boom, that makes them immediately American citizens, and then they go back to China. Well, at some point, those babies will grow up enough to immigrate to the United States, only they won't be immigrating. They'll be citizens. It doesn't matter if they've lived in China for the first 18 years of their lives, for the first 18 hours of their lives, they were Americans. And in fact, I've read articles about similar things in the UK, but certainly it goes on in the United States. And this is something that we should watch, because there is, Jeff, an important component to this. This is why I brought this audio to this program and why it was put up on TR.news, because this doesn't just affect Australia. It affects all of our nations, because once the culture of communism infests your nation, then the choices for the people become fewer and fewer, and the power of the people becomes less and less. And you have the communists, Jeff, who are allying themselves with the Mohammedans, and they will use each other as long as they need to bring socialism and communism to power in the halls of government, and the Mohammedans will take over the streets and the culture there. And you guys, you will not like the countries that this the end game that happens in these countries once they get this stuff done.
In China, especially, Dave, if the way that the communism works in China, if you go against the communist ways, you could lose your benefits, you could lose your home, you could even lose your life, because that is communism. And we've seen it, we've heard about it for many years. And if people want that type of thing, it's not going to be very pleasant. I don't want it, and I know you don't want it, Dave. And people will fight to defend what they've got and fight against communism. And that is the way I look at it. We don't want to end up like that, like what they think is going to be a utopia. It's not, nothing like a utopia, you mugs. Nothing. You will be just a serf. You'll be used, you'll be abused, and you'll be thrown away. That is it. That is just like a working bee. And it, Dave, like a bee.
Yeah.
You just work for the hive. That's it. And when you're finished, you're finished.
Yeah, it's a perfect analogy, Jeff, really, especially when you've seen some of these videos of some of these young workers in China who have been overworked so much that they wind up jumping off of buildings and things and killing themselves because work is all there is for them. I mean, and I have to say, I really like your analogy of being a bee in a beehive, or an ant in an anthill. It's really pretty much the same thing, and really you get about as much respect. The only ones who prosper, truly prosper, and have the ability to truly move ahead in a communist society, which that's where all this socialism leads, guys. That's the end game, are the people in charge, are the rulers. They live like kings. And these are the very ones right now. They're the very ones right now, Jeff, and listeners. They're the very ones right now that are saying, these evil rich people should give up all their money for taxes to support the poor, and being rich is evil, and everybody should give up all their money and live like a socialist lifestyle and everything. Guys, when you hear this stuff, you need to understand that the end game, again, I know I keep on harping on this, Jeff, but the end game, Jeff, is exactly what you said. The end game is that good, working people, men and women, it doesn't matter what skin color you are, none of that mess matters to the socialist, communist, Mohammedan rulers. They'll have all the money, they'll have all the privilege. You'll be living with a social credit system like the one Paul Watson talked about. China's horrific social credit system, Jeff. That was, I believe, the video he did. Check that out, guys. It's on BitChute, and it may still be on YouTube. I don't know.
It's fact, though. It's pure fact, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah,
these are facts, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out yourself. It's what Dave said. Check it out. But this is factual. If you want to live after that type of system, and this is what you want, my goodness me, you need to think and sit and look at yourself in the mirror before you tend to swing towards this Marxist ideology. Absolutely, you need your brains testing. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, Jeff, I was just sending you a message, man. I happened to look at the clock. It's 20 after the hour. If you want to call back in, I'll go ahead and set up.
Yes, pal. There you go. Ding, ding. I thought, well, hello. Someone's punched me ticket.
No worries, man.
Just before I do, Dave, before I call back in, Vorpalbite is actually, he's just made a comment. I'm not sure exactly, but he says, this is what Vorpalbite says: 70 years in Australia, 70 years in China, and 11 in Hong Kong. He goes on to say 151 years. I don't know what he did. There's much. Vorpalbite, please share more what your thoughts there, because I'm not quite there, brother. Okay, But Dave, I'll pass it back to you and I'll take my break, yeah?
All right, Jeff, go ahead and take your break, and I'll set up the next audio, and I'll answer Vorpalbite now. Okay, it sounds like the guy says 70 years. I'm sure that what he is saying is 17 years. That's probably what he is saying. So that clears up that little mystery. Now, the communist insurgency is going on, of course, in the UK, and it's going on everywhere. All right, and it's something that we have to be aware of, and it's something that we have to counter with good common sense. And, well, actually, this was done on the 26th of November. Kenneth McClinton, who runs the Exceptional Conservative Network and hosts the Exceptional Conservative Show, which you can hear at 9:05 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States, Monday through Friday, had a guest on. This guest is Melanie Collette, Professor Melanie Collette. All right. She hosts her own program, which is Money Talk with Melanie. That one comes on at 5 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday in the United States. That one can be heard on SHR Media, and it can be heard through the SHR Media YouTube page, just like my show. And she also can be heard on Facebook. She does a really great show on economics and on social issues. And she is also involved in education. She's taught high school and she has taught college courses. And Ken had a very illuminating interview with her concerning communism and American public schools. And brothers and sisters in the UK, this is something that you need to listen to because this influence is going on in your schools as well. And people from other countries who are hearing this, these same influences are going on in your schools. And what I love about this whole thing is that Melanie Collette gives a good, current, ground-level view of what is going on now in our schools here in the United States and very likely what's going on in your schools in other countries, whether you know it or not. And this comes in 3 parts. And, Jeff, I'm going to go ahead and begin this first part. This will take 7 minutes and 40 seconds. And I'm going to start now, guys.
And that is it for this time. Next time, part 3. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for listening. And may your God go with you. Goodbye.
The Unpleasant Blind Guy is copyright 2020. Anno Domini. Now for Dave's Canes. Extras that help you navigate the new media world.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff Dunitz. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff Dunitz.
This is Shannon Wright of The Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. Mike's not here, so I gotta talk fast. You gotta join us. Fall season. Getting ready to start up with a whole bunch of new stuff. News and food and politics and sports and entertainment and a whole bunch of stuff. But wait, Mike's coming. I gotta go. Remember, Shannon and Mike in the AM on SHR Media, Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. Make sure you tune in.
Featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America, one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where the speech is free, but the drinks are not. The Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the Bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making of this ad.
Join me, Jack Alexander, for the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast, as I take a unique outsider's look at the issues affecting the USA. I fearlessly take on the issues that everyone else is too scared to touch. The Jack Alexander Experiment podcast is available wherever good podcasts can be found, like Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcast. The Jack Alexander Experiment, because it's not a matter of left versus right, it's a matter of right versus wrong.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Featuring the effervescent contrarian Sackheads Clint, plus the unrestrained bulbosity of BZ, the Sackheads Against Tyranny is a real chat show. Doubling your late-night conservative talk show pleasure with double the hosts, you can listen every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Please note, some contents may have settled during shipping. Member FDIC, batteries not included, warranty void in Montenegro.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.